Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So with your permission, I'd like to go into Samadhi. Do I have your permission? Even if you don't, I'm still going to do it. Last month, for a week or two, I was absorbed in reading about Akrura. In the 9 processes of devotional service, for each process, there is a devotee given as the person who achieved perfection. Parikshit achieved perfection by hearing. Shukadev achieved perfection by chanting. Prahlad achieved perfection by remembering. So Akrura, he achieved perfection vandanam, by offering prayers. So Akrura plays a good role in the Krishna Leela or Krishna drama. So right now, I'm praying to Krishna that he reminds me, smaranam, of what I studied last month during that 10-day, 12-day period. So let's see what Krishna empowers me. Trinadapi sunichena torariva sahishnuna amanina manadena kirtaniya sadahari harinama harinama harinamaiva kevalam kalau nastyeva 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 gatiranyata. So in the beginning of the Krishna Leela, the scene was described. Devaki had just been married to Vasudeva. She's leaving her parents' house, and her brother Kamsa is driving the chariot. Along the way, Kamsa hears a voice, an omen. Kamsa, you fool! The 8th child of your sister will kill you. Immediately Kamsa drew his sword, let go of the horses, grabbed Devaki by the hair, and was going to chop off her head. But Vasudeva, because he was to be the father of Krishna, Krishna gave him very good intelligence. And Vasudeva spoke very, very diplomatically. His only desire was, somehow I have to spare my wife. So Vasudeva gave many arguments trying to convince Kamsa not to kill, but he was not listening, he was not agreeing. So finally Vasudeva said, okay, there may not be any children, but if there are any children, I will turn them over to you. You can do what you like. That appeased Kamsa. So Kamsa agreed, okay, I'll not kill Devaki, because Kamsa knew that Vasudeva was a man of his word. He was a devotee. So he knew Vasudeva would not lie. So because of Vasudeva's character, Kamsa agreed, okay. But as it turned out, Narada later appeared and told Kamsa, you know, Kamsa, I wouldn't trust the demon, the omen, because although it said the 8th child, perhaps any of Devaki's children. So even though when Vasudeva turned over the first son, Kirtiman, At that time, Kamsa had a change of heart. He said, okay, I'm not really interested in this child. It's the 8th child. That's when Narada came in and mucked everything up. Because Narada had a motive. He wanted Kamsa to become more sinful, more sinful, more sinful, so that Krishna would come sooner. Narada was wanting Krishna to come. So after hearing from Narada that any of the children might be the one, then Kamsa killed, one after another, 6 sons of Devaki. The 8th one, Kamsa was tricked because the babies were switched. Vasudeva took Yashoda's girl, left Krishna with Yashoda, who didn't know whether she gave birth to a boy or a girl, because right after birth she fell asleep and forgot whether she had given birth to a boy or a girl. When she woke up, she saw this beautiful boy. Oh, I have a son. And so when Kamsa heard the crying child, which was supposed to be the 8th child, he said, wait a second, it's a girl. It was supposed to be a boy. Nevertheless, he tried to kill by throwing it on the stone, but then the child flew up in the sky and appeared as Akrura-katha with weapons, and she chastised Kamsa. You rascal! You rascal! The child you're looking for is born elsewhere. So after that, Kamsa started killing so many babies in the area because Akrura-katha told him the child has already been born elsewhere. So as the years go by, Kamsa sends so many demons to Vrindavan looking for Krishna, looking for that 8th child. So at a certain point, Kamsa, now at this time, since the birth of Krishna, 11 years have passed. For 11 years, Kamsa has been sending demon after demon to kill Krishna. But he's failed every time. So one day, Kamsa calls Akrura. Now Akrura is a member of the Yadu dynasty. But even though he's a devotee, he still was under Kamsa and was diplomatically serving him. So Kamsa called Akrura and said, my dear Akrura, in all of the Yadu dynasty, I don't have anyone as good as you. So I have a very important mission for you. And Kamsa was very, very open. He said, my plan is I want to kill Krishna and Balaram. That's my plan. Because what happened also before this, Narada came again to Kamsa. Just before calling Akrura, Narada, the troublemaker, transcendental troublemaker, he went to Kamsa and said, Kamsa, you know what? The 8th child of Devaki is Krishna. You have been cheated. Kamsa wasn't sure. Okay, he was just sending the demons out. He wasn't sure who the 8th child was. Now Narada tells him, you know what, Kamsa? The 8th child of Devaki that you're looking for is Krishna. So when Kamsa heard that, he wanted to kill Vasudeva. And Narada said, what are you trying to kill Vasudeva for? He's not your problem. Better find Krishna and kill him. So in this way, Vasudeva was spared. So Kamsa then called Akrura. So Akrura ji, I have a master plan. I have a big plan. And my plan is, you bring Krishna and Balaram to Mathura, and I will see that they are killed. Because you know, Akrura, I am destined to be killed by this Krishna. So you bring them to Mathura. I have all these plans. I have a big elephant, Kuvalai-Pida, and he will crush Krishna. And if that doesn't work, Krishna and Balaram, you tell Krishna and Balaram to come and joined the big wrestling match. The big wrestling match. And my wrestlers, Chanur and Mushtika, they will kill Krishna and Balaram. So, Akrura didn't reveal, but in his heart he was thinking, oh, I'm going to see Krishna. Because Akrura was a devotee, but he was acting diplomatically in front of Kamsa because he was staying in that Mathura area. So when you like that, you have to be diplomatic. You can't show too much, you can't reveal too much. But actually, Akrura is a great devotee. So Akrura was thinking, I don't have anything to worry about because Krishna is going to know my heart. Even though I'm being sent on an evil mission, Krishna will know my intention. So the next morning, Akrura got on his chariot and he drove from Mathura to Vrindavan. Many of you have probably done that drive. How many kilometers? 90? No? How many? Oh, okay. 5 or 6? All right. Some say 15, some say 5 or 6. All right. Go on, no, not now, but later we'll go on Google. Because Krishna says anything you want to know is on Google. So, Akrura is on his chariot, and on the way he's simply thinking and imagining, oh, when I arrive, Krishna will be like this, and Nanda and Yashoda will treat me like this, and Krishna will call me uncle, because that was the relationship. So all the way Akrura was simply meditating on Krishna. And by the end of the day, the sun was setting, Akrura arrived in Vrindavan. And when he entered the precincts of Vrindavan, he looked in the ground and he saw Krishna's footprints, because the bottom of Krishna's feet have very distinct markings. That's why if anyone says they're God, look at their feet. If they don't have the markings, give them a slap, because they're cheating. You're cheating. If somebody is God, there are specific markings on the soles of their feet that indicate that they are Vishnu, Narayan. And in the case of Krishna, even more special markings. So those markings Akrura could see in the dirt. As soon as he saw them, he got down from the chariot and rolled in the dust. He wanted to simply immerse himself in the dust of Vrindavan. And Prabhupada mentions, this is a good thing that we should do also when we enter Vrindavan. This is something we can also do. As soon as you enter Vrindavan, don't worry about your nice kurta, no. Roll in the dirt and get the dust of Vrindavan all over you. I did that the first time in 1975. I was on a rickshaw. So I told the rickshaw wallet, stop. And I got off the rickshaw and I went down into the dirt. Because I had read this Krishna book story. I felt very good that I did this. So as Akrura reaches Krishna's home, the gopis are finishing up their duties. It's sunset, early evening. And Akrura meets with Nanda and Yashoda, and there are many nice exchanges. And then Akrura meets Krishna and Balaram. And like he predicted, Krishna calls Akrura my dear uncle. And Krishna asks Akrura, tell me, what is that nonsense Kamsa up to? Krishna had some very harsh words for Kamsa, saying that he is the actual antithesis of what a king or leader should be. So Krishna had very low opinion of Kamsa, because Kamsa was the most powerful demon of the time. Kamsa had made an alliance with all the demons on the world. They were all under Kamsa, all the demons. United Nations of demons under Kamsa. So Akrura then explained to Krishna and Balaram Kamsa's intentions. He made it very clear. Exactly what Kamsa told him, Akrura explained to Krishna and Balaram. And Krishna and Balaram chuckled. They thought this was very funny. So it was decided, with permission of Nanda and Yashoda, that they would go to Mathura. They would accept the invitation of Kamsa. Kamsa's invitation was to attend the Dhanur Yagya and also the wrestling match. So Akrura spent the night there in Vrindavan, and when the gopis saw Akrura's chariot, at first they thought, did Krishna come back to save us? But they realized, no, it was Akrura. They were hoping maybe Krishna. No, actually, I'm missing. No, take that off. Mistake. I caught myself. I'm mixing up Uddhava. All right, so let's retract that. Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay. So we'll pick up where I didn't make a mistake. So Akrura spent the night, and the next morning, Nanda and the cowherd men and the cowherd boys, they left with various presentations, and they went to Mathura using secret roads, secret paths. So they got to Mathura very quickly. Krishna and Balaram got upon Akrura's chariot, and as they were leaving Vrindavan, the gopis all came, headed by who? Srimati Radharani. And they did not want Krishna to leave. They were very upset, and they pleaded, "Oh, Krishna, you should not leave us. We cannot live without you. Please don't leave." But Krishna, being the expert diplomat, he consoled Radharani and the gopis by saying, "Don't worry, I'm coming right back. I just have to kill a few demons. After I kill these few demons, I'll come right back." But the gopis knew, no. They did not want Krishna, they didn't want to take the chance. But Krishna consoled them. So Akrura took Krishna and Balaram on the chariot, and the gopis just stood there watching as if they were painted pictures. And they watched the chariot as it left Vrindavan. That was the saddest day for the gopis. It was as if somebody had ripped out their hearts. So it was morning. So Akrura decided, we will take bath in the river Yamuna. So Balaram and Krishna, they went to take bath in the Yamuna first. Akrura waited. And then when they were done, Krishna and Balaram came back to the chariot. Then Akrura went to take his bath. So Krishna and Balaram are on the chariot. But when Akrura entered the Yamuna, there was Krishna and Balaram. How could that be? And the answer is what? How is it that Akrura saw Krishna and Balaram on the chariot? So how could it be that they could be there? Who knows the answer? Yes? No, that's not the answer. That's the answer. Who said that? Yes, that's the answer. Krishna's God. He can do anything. Did he not, previous to this, expand himself between each two gopis? Did he not lift Govardhan Hill for 7 days and 7 nights? So Krishna already proved, as Rama said, he can do anything. So he can simultaneously be on the chariot and at the same time in the Yamuna. So when Akrura saw Krishna and Balaram in the Yamuna, he became bewildered. But how is this possible? So Akrura started to offer prayers, and then Krishna and Balaram transformed themselves into Mahavishnu and Sheshanaga. So Akrura saw this amazing manifestation, and he offered very nice philosophical prayers. Then Mahavishnu and Sheshanaga disappeared. Akrura finished his bath, went back to the chariot, and who's on the chariot? And they say, Akrura, did you see something interesting when you were in the water? As if they didn't know. That's what I love about Krishna. When he plays the part, he plays it perfectly. So, Akrura, did you see something when you were in the water? And again, Akrura offered prayers. And what did Akrura say? Krishna, when I've seen you, I've seen everything. There's nothing under the sun that I can't see. So they proceeded to Mathura. Now, because Nanda, the other cowherd men, and the cowherd boys took those secret roads, they arrived in Mathura before they did. And they set up their camp outside the city. So when Akrura finally reaches Mathura, Akrura says to Krishna, Krishna, you must come to my home. Wouldn't you? If you drove Krishna, you would go straight to your home, wouldn't you? You would want to bathe his feet, yes? You'd want to make some nice food for Krishna, wouldn't you? Or maybe you would ask Krishna, what would you like to eat? Right? You probably would do that. You don't just go, okay, I think Krishna likes Mexican, I'll make, no. You'll ask Krishna what he wants to eat. Hare Krishna. So Akrura said, please, this is my opportunity. You have to come to my home. And Krishna said, not now. Let me finish my business here in Mathura, and then later I'll come visit you. And Akrura felt so disheartened. Oh. As we all would if we had invited Krishna and Krishna says, not this time. We would all feel very, very crestfallen. So Krishna then met the washerman, and Krishna met Kubja, the hunchback woman. Then the wrestling match came, and Krishna killed Kamsa. And then Krishna was reunited with his real parents, Vasudeva and Devaki. And the Vasudeva and Devaki met Nanda and Yashoda, and Vasudeva and Devaki said, we are so grateful to you that even though Krishna and Balaram were not your real sons, you took care of them better than we could. And Vasudeva and Devaki were just glorifying Nanda and Yashoda, because at this point, this is the first time they understand that Krishna is not their real son. All this time, Yashoda and Nanda think Krishna's our son, but now it's revealed. When Krishna meets Vasudeva and Devaki, the whole 11 years is now understood in the light of the truth. So it's a big deal. And then, which also very nice, is how Krishna speaks to Vasudeva and Devaki when they meet. Krishna says, I feel very bad that I could not live with you all these years. I could not serve you. And what Krishna says to Vasudeva and Devaki is, it shows that Krishna is such a nice person. Krishna also warns that it is the duty of the son to take care of the parents. And Krishna says very harshly that any son who does not take care of the old parents or diseased parents, that person goes to hell to eat their own flesh. So Krishna's words are very, very strong there, that the sons have to take care of the parents in their old age. It's a high religious principle. So after some time, Krishna keeps his promise to Akrura. Remember, he said, I'll come. So after some time, Krishna goes to see Akrura. And Akrura is so happy that Krishna has come to his house. Akrura washes Krishna's feet and sprinkles on his head and his family the water. That's what the great devotee, Bali Maharaj, did that with Lord Vamana. All the great devotees, when the Lord comes, they wash the Lord's feet and then sprinkle the water on everybody's head. And they ate very nice foodstuffs that was made in love, because that is the thing that really attracts Krishna. It is the love and devotion that the devotee makes the food with. You all know the story from Mahabharata. Duryodhana made a huge feast, but Krishna said, no, I'll go to Vidura's house. And Vidura made very simple. But Krishna is not attracted to externals. Krishna is attracted to heart. Right? So, after Krishna had eaten and Akrura had satisfied Krishna, Krishna said to Akrura, I have a mission for you. And Akrura, he sees himself as Krishna's servant. So he said, yes, what is my mission? So Krishna said, I'm very much concerned about the Pandavas. Krishna said, I heard some rumor about the Pandavas. So I'm not getting good reports from Hastinapur. So I want you to go to Hastinapur and you go see Dhritarashtra, because he was the main figurehead in Hastinapur. So Krishna told Akrura, you go there, find out what's going on. Of course, Krishna knows what's going on. He doesn't need Akrura to do that, because Krishna knows everything. How? Because he's super soul. He knows exactly what's going on, but he wanted to give service to Akrura, so that by doing service, Akrura advances. That's what Krishna does. Or when the spiritual master gives you service. The spiritual master is giving you service so that you can advance. So Krishna is giving Akrura this service. He already knows what's going on, but he's giving Akrura the opportunity to render service, and this is Krishna's Ashirvad. Krishna's Ashirvad is he gives you service. There's another example. Like right now I can't remember, but there's another example on this point. It'll come after Krishna gives me the remembrance. So Akrura agrees. He goes to Hastinapur and he sees, yes, Dhritarashtra is not being very good to the Pandavas, and that Dhritarashtra is favoring his sons headed by Duryodhana. So after some time, Akrura speaks to Dhritarashtra, and he points out to Dhritarashtra that what you're doing is wrong. You're supposed to be the king. So as the king, you're supposed to be equal to both your sons and the Pandavas. It's okay that you have attachment to your sons, that's natural. But as king, you have to be at least fair with the Pandavas. But it was just the opposite. Not only were they not fair, they were actually very cruel to the Pandavas in so many different ways. So Akrura pointed this out to Dhritarashtra. He told him on his face. And Dhritarashtra said, I can't help it. I am destined to be like this. Dhritarashtra said, I know that my son Duryodhana and the rest of them, they're all bad. I know it. And I know that I have too much attachment for them. And I know that in the end, Krishna is going to come and kill them all. I know all this. And still, I can't help myself. This is Maya. When you know something and you still feel like you can't do anything about it. So Dhritarashtra knew, I know what's going to happen. There's going to be a war. We're going to lose. I'm going to lose. But he couldn't help it. He still couldn't check his son Duryodhana, his attachment. So Dhritarashtra said, this is my destiny. This is my fate. I've just resigned myself to it. Even though I know the end, I can see the end. I know what's going to happen, but I feel helpless. So Dhritarashtra is saying it must be Krishna's plan. So Akrura went back to Krishna and gave him the whole picture. So Krishna at that point said, yes, I must try to help the Pandavas in any way I can, because they're fatherless and they're like, and Kunti is there. She's like a sheep in the midst of jackals. She's defenseless. What can Kunti do? She has no recourse. She's at the mercy of Dhritarashtra and Duryodhana. So Krishna decided, yes, I must do something to help the Pandavas, which he does. You all know he does. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Later on, Akrura, there's one more incident with Akrura. There was this Shamantaka jewel. And because of the Shamantaka jewel and Krishna's connection with it, Akrura got implicated in a murder. There was what's the word I'm thinking of? There was a plot. Because Krishna actually wanted that Shamantaka jewel, but Krishna's father-in-law was too attached to the Shamantaka jewel. So this jewel was very valuable. When anyone who wore the jewel, they would think the sun god has arrived. It was so brilliant. It was kept in a cloth. But as soon as the jewel was left open, you'd shine like the sun. So, and also whoever had the jewel was producing mounds of gold every day. I'd like that, huh? That'd solve all my problems, I think, right? Mounds of gold every day. So Krishna wanted the jewel for King Ugrasena, but Krishna's father-in-law, Satyajit, he was attached to the jewel because he was getting name and fame besides the gold. He'd walk in, everybody would, whoa, Satyajit, come. He was getting all kinds of honor and adulation, headlines, So what happened was, the jewel was stolen, and there was a murder plot, and Akrura was involved in the murder plot. So the question arises, wait a second, you said that Akrura was a pure devotee of Krishna. How could he be involved in a murder plot? And the answer is the gopis. Because who took Krishna and Balaram out of Vrindavan? Akrura. So when that happened, the gopis cursed Akrura. They cursed him. So word of advice, don't upset the gopis. Don't take Krishna away from the gopis, because they just might curse you. So because Akrura, and the name Akrura, not cruel. The gopis said, hypocrite. You're not Akrura. You're the most cruel, because you have taken our life and soul Krishna away from us. So Akrura was implicated in the murder plot, and eventually Akrura wound up with the Shamantaka jewel. After so many different intrigues, he finally wound up with the jewel. So one day Krishna was with everybody in Dwaraka, and in front of everybody, Krishna said, Akrura, just let me know one thing. I think you are holding the Shamantaka jewel. My brother doesn't believe me, but I know that you are doing sacrifices, and doing sacrifices costs a lot of money. So just, Akrura, I don't want the jewel, but at least prove me right. Show everybody the jewel just once so that everybody and my brother will believe me. And of course, Akrura had to come clean. And yes, he had the jewel. So, for a few more minutes, I'd like to go back to the scene where Akrura is trying to take Krishna out of Vrindavan. And the gopis are trying their best to prevent Akrura from leaving. They're doing everything they can. So the gopis, they sang a particular song. And the very first verse is very nice. So here's the Sanskrit. Sri Gopya Uchu Aho Vidhatastabanak Vachit Daya Sangyoja Maitra Pranayena Dehina Tang Strikritaratan Viyungshaksi Apartakang Vikridigtang Terbaka Chastitang Yata. So this is the first of the prayers. The gopis, they were actually crying out, "O Providence, you are so cruel. It appears that you do not know how to show mercy to others. By your arrangement, friends contact one another, but without fulfilling their desires, you separate them. This is exactly like children's play that has no meaning. It is very abominable that you arrange to show us beautiful Krishna, whose bluish curling hair beautifies his broad forehead and sharp nose. Krishna is always smiling just to minimize all contention in this material world. But then you arrange to separate him from us. Oh, Providence, you are so cruel. But most astonishingly, you appear now as Akrura, which means not cruel. So, when this word providence appears, providence means super soul, the hand of God. In the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there is that verse, 5 factors which determine the outcome of any action: the person, the senses, the endeavor, and then the 5th factor, Daiva, destiny. But that Daiva, destiny or providence, who is that? That's Krishna. Because he's the one who decides. It's all like we read in Bhagavad Gita in the 18th chapter as well, after this, where Krishna says that Ishvara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjun tishtati, I am seated in everyone's heart, right? And I am directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated on a machine made of material energy. So the machine, the body, the soul is resting on the machine. But who's like all the streets, right? The stoplights are all coordinated, aren't they? And there's a master switch. There's a whole grid. And if somebody is able to muck that up, you could have big traffic problems, right? So somebody somewhere is determining, now this street goes red, this light goes green, like this. That's how you control the flow of. So that's Krishna. He is directing the wanderings of all living entities. You still have free will. When you drive your car, if you want to go through the red light, you're free to go through the red light. Correct? That Krishna does not interfere with your free will, but Krishna has set up the whole matrix. So providence means Krishna in the form of super soul. The super soul is, and that's also mentioned in that 18th chapter. Krishna says, towards the end, you should surrender to that super soul utterly. Just before he says, Sarvadharman Parityaja, he said, he makes his case that actually everything is under the control of Paramatma, and you should surrender to Paramatma. It's Paramatma, that who is providence, that is determining one's fate. So for a devotee, Krishna is directly working on their fate. For the non-devotee, their fate is already predestined by the consequences of their material actions, good or bad. But once you surrender to Krishna and become a devotee, you're not under that jurisdiction. Anything that happens to you now is coming directly from Krishna. The example is given. The cat. The cat in its mouth picks up the mouse. What does the mouse feel? Death. But the cat also with its mouth picks up the kittens. And what do the kittens feel? Mommy. So, We learn in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, I am all-devouring death. Mrityu sarva haras chaham. So for the non-devotee atheists, they say, I don't believe in Krishna. I don't believe in God. Krishna says, that's all right. I'll see you at the time of death. And for the devotee, Krishna appears as he does. So the choice is yours. Do you want Krishna to come as all-devouring death? Or do you want Krishna to come smiling and delivering you and saving you? That's your choice. Krishna plays equal. You want Krishna as a friend? Krishna is prepared to be your friend. If you want Krishna to be your enemy, okay, I'll be your enemy. He's equal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama. Thank you very much. May Krishna bless you, protect you, and maintain you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.